Hello, Namaskar, and a very good evening to all the viewers watching our session. Welcome to NCERT's live interactive session. This is Simran Singh. You are all watching us on PM eVidya channel number 6 to 12. And viewers, you can also connect with us to our YouTube channel, that is ncertofficial. So it's around 4 p.m. on your watch, and regularly from 4 to 5 p.m. we come up with our special sessions to enhance your understanding about diverse subjects. So for another 40 to 45 minutes, we have a special session. So what are we going to discuss in this particular webinar session? Well, it is about virtual labs on Diksha. So you must have understood the concept of labs. If you are studying in a school, have you visited your chemistry or physics lab? Well, it sounds fascinating doing all those experiments in the lab. But suppose if you get a chance to do all those experiments online with the help of technology, how efficient and cost effective that would be. Well, our today's session is going to be about that, and providing us more details about this session, we are joined by 3 experts. So allow me to introduce our experts to all our viewers. In the conversation here in studio, we are joined by Professor Indu Kumar. Namaskar, ma'am.
Namaskar.
Good evening. A very warm welcome in the session. Ma'am is currently serving in the Department of ICT and Training at CIET NCRE. She is also the National Coordinator of Diksha. We welcome you in the session with open arms.
Thank you.
We also have with us Dr. Prema Nidungari, ma'am. Namaskar, ma'am. Good evening. आपका भी स्वागत है मैम इस सत्र में. मैम is the Director at Center for Research in Analytics, Technologies for Education and Chairperson at School of Computing, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Welcome, ma'am. Then in the studio, we also have with us Miss Nidhi Adlakha, ma'am. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Welcoming you in the session as well. Ma'am is currently serving as Senior Academic Consultant in the Department of ICT and Training at CIET NCERT. Well, today's session is going to be very interesting for all our viewers. So there must be some questions that you would come across. Then the comment section of NCERT Official is for all our viewers. Apart from that, here is the contact number that is flashing on your screens. So feel free to give us a call at 8800440559. Besides this, if you have any feedback for our continuous sessions, then here is a mail ID flashing on your screens. You can also write to us at training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. So let's begin our conversation on virtual labs available on Diksha platform. So ma'am, as we are going to start with this topic here, I would like to bring the notice of all our viewers regarding NEP, National Education Policy 2020. It talks a lot about the integration of technology in our classroom experiences. So what are the recommendations that it has got, particularly for virtual labs available on Diksha platform?
Yeah. So that's a very valid question. So nowadays, whatever we are doing in the area of education, we are doing as per NEP 2020. So there are a lot of recommendations which will enhance the quality of school education and also higher education. Since NCERT works for school education and teacher education, so I will be talking what NEP 2020 recommends for virtual labs for school education. So we can see here on the slide what are the recommendations of NEP 2020 as far as virtual labs are concerned. So creating virtual laboratories so that all students have equal access to quality practicals and hands-on experience or experiment-based learning experiences. So virtual labs are there to get the laboratory experience in the access to all these students. Because it is not essential that all the schools in India have high-end laboratories, and also there are some of the concepts which are not which are abstract, which needs experimentations, but which cannot be done in the laboratories. That earlier the frog dissection was one of the laboratory activities, but now it has been stopped. So all such activities can be done virtually through virtual labs, and also some of the laboratory experiences can be created for the children where laboratories are not into the access. So let us again see the slide what these virtual labs are meant for. So there is no substitute to hands-on experiences, as we all know. And physical laboratories are very, very important. But to overcome the constraints, virtual labs have a great potential to enhance the actual laboratory experience. So there, now apart from this, the e-resources, which are laboratory-based e-resources, they can help students visualize the concept in a better manner, because there are a lot of abstract concepts in all the subjects. Abstract concepts are there in science, in mathematics, in languages, in social sciences. So in all these subjects we encounter abstract concepts. So these virtual labs can better help children understand those abstract concepts in a better manner. So that is the potential of virtual lab. And apart from this, the virtual labs have many more possibilities to learn, to explore, and to get hands-on experiences.
Of course, very appropriately you have mentioned some of the features of the virtual lab. But ma'am, we all have been, like I belong to a science background, so I have been to the laboratories, science laboratories of my school. But what was the real idea behind the virtual labs? It sounds something new, something more fascinating.
I know. So let us project the next slide so that we can better understand the whole idea behind setting up of virtual labs. So the virtual labs are based on the idea that lab experiments can be taught using internet more efficiently in a cost-effective manner. So we all know the recent pandemic when schools were at a closure, and we had students who are studying in class 10th, 12th, who were supposed to give board examinations, and they were deprived of getting this laboratory experience also, and the actual classroom experience also in for studying in the class. So that is how the whole idea of having virtual labs, which were already recommended in NEP 2020, get connected to the stakeholders of education so that they can expedite it and have virtual labs on Diksha. So such situation can arise any time, and moreover, the laboratories give limited period of access to students. They are at homes also, but if they want to practice experiments, they can always go to virtual labs, have an hands-on in virtual laboratories and learn the concept better. Can we project this slide? So so that is how they will benefit the students who do not have access to physical labs or schools where equipments are not available. Experiments can be accessed anytime and anywhere, as I have already mentioned that physical labs have limited access during school hours only, and if we have virtual labs, students can go back home and practice experiments. So that is the whole idea behind having virtual labs on Diksha.
Well, I think it is a very nice idea of having virtual labs as they are easily available. Yeah, and
True.
also ma'am, as you just mentioned in the beginning that it has got even more possibilities. So what kind of learning experiences students are confronted with when we talk particularly of virtual labs on Diksha?
So there are a lot to learn as far as experiments are also concerned. We need to know about the theory of the concepts, then the other aspects. So here we can see on this slide on virtual lab what the students are going to experience. So following resources are available on virtual labs on Diksha to enhance the learning experiences that children will be getting. So there are theories and procedures which are there. So we have text document on Diksha where theoretical background of each concept which is there on virtual lab is given. Then there are animations and videos also. These animations and video help in visualizing theoretical concepts. So first theory, then visualizing the theoretical concepts through animations and video. Then there are simulations also, which are actual virtual laboratories. So they provide real-time experience of performing an experiment on Diksha, on the virtual lab component of Diksha. Then there is Viva Voce also, so that is self-evaluation. Students can access how much they have grasped on the particular concept that they have experienced the lab upon. Then there is also a mechanism of feedback. Feedback is meant for improving the resources from user's perspective. So user get a questionnaire on the concept which is available there in the form of animation, video and simulations. So they give their feedback upon each experiment, so that based upon the feedback we receive from the student, we can further enhance the virtual lab. So right now we have around 218 virtual labs, and these virtual labs comprise of, they include the subjects like science, mathematics, English, computer science, and we also have some labs on vocational education, and we have a plan to have skill labs also, which relates to the vocational education stream. So that is how this whole idea is taking place, and we are going to have in future around more than 800, around 850 virtual labs. And we are doing this initiative in collaboration with Amrita University. We already have a resource person from Amrita University, and they are creating they will be creating more and more virtual labs for us. So the Department of Science and Mathematics at CIET, they have listed out concepts which need to be developed on priority basis, so that those concepts can be taken up to create those virtual labs first.
Well, it sounds pretty interesting, because as you can have a look at the slide, you can also see the different kind of experiences you can get, whether it's about the theory, whether it's about the practical knowledge, and who doesn't like audio video in today's time? Everyone likes it, and I think it is a better way of understanding different and diverse, at times complex concepts. Now the important question, ma'am, that arises in front of us is, having said much about virtual labs, are they easy to access? Like, what is the way to access virtual labs on Diksha?
Yeah, that is very important to know, that it is all about accessing. The virtual labs are for students, and they need to have easy navigation to virtual labs for enhancing their learning. So we have with us Ms. Nidhi Adlaka, who is a senior consultant working on the project with me. So I will request her to help me out in navigating the virtual lab. So there is a URL which is flashed here. Please project the PPT, diksha.gov.in. When we click onto this URL, we will get this page, and there are a lot of banners. You can see Nipun Bharat Mission banner here. So as we scroll the banners, we will get the virtual labs, and here if we click onto explore, you can see explore below the virtual lab banner. So when we click explore, we will get this page, virtual lab page. So first of all, it gives an idea about virtual labs, so you can see what virtual labs are. So if you click on to read more, you will get more information about virtual lab on the virtual lab vertical on Diksha. Can we make it a bit, enlarge it and scroll down? Yeah. So you can see here the features of virtual labs disseminated through Diksha, and it includes simulations in science, mathematics and skill e-labs, animations, lab videos and text documents, perform and learn experiments anytime, anywhere, individualized practice in all areas of experimentation, content aligned to NCERT, CBSE and state board syllabus. So that is all which is available on this virtual lab vertical of Diksha. If we scroll down a bit, we will see the virtual lab e-content is organized class-wise, and here we can see the content from classes 6th to 12th are available. If we click onto any class, so we will get the content organized, medium-wise content organized. So you can see here Hindi medium and English medium content. So the labs are available for both Hindi medium students and English medium students. So Nidhi has clicked onto English medium, and you can see here this was for class 11th. Yes. So in class 11th we have virtual labs on aligned to mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology and computer science. So let us click onto any subject. So you are clicking on to biology. So you can see here, if you are accessing Diksha for the first time, so you will get this page, you have to fill this information. And if you again connect using a new device, again this page will come. So here we will navigate quickly, fill this information. And after filling up this information, you will get the content which is there. So here you can see a PDF, it's a theory. Right now the content, the labs aligned to the lab manuals of NCERT from class 6 to 12th are available. We have aligned all laboratory content through the lab manuals. So if we click on to any experiment of the lab manual of class 11th, so you have clicked on to what, Nidhi?
Study of plasmolysis.
Study of plasmolysis, and this is for class 11th. So here you will get all about that. If you click onto here, you will reach onto the whole lot of contents available there. You will get theory, you will get procedures, you will get animation, you will get simulations, and you will also get videos, and you will get viva voce, and you will get the feedback which I already explained to you. So now I would request Miss Nidhi to take you through one of the experiment, and you take the experiment which is on plasmosis.
Thank you, ma'am. So here you can see that study of plasmolysis is shown. First of all, if we need to get to know what is the basic information of this topic, so we can click on theory, and here you can see that all the information related to plasmolysis is given. So what is plasmolysis? It is a process of shrinkage of protoplasm of a cell due to loss of water. And we can observe this process by keeping cells in concentrated solution. This you can try at your home using simulator. So when you click on simulator, you get this screen.
And it's a 2D content on plasmolysis which Nidhi is demonstrating here.
So here you can see that concentration of NaCl solution is shown, and when we click on it, we get a drop down menu. Out of this we can choose any of them. For example, I have chosen 1.80% of NaCl. After choosing concentration, we have to take this slide, we have to drag it and put it on the stage of the microscope. After doing this, we have to click on eyepiece so as to have a close view of the cells. Here you can see there are two columns. The first one is showing control normal cells. That means this is showing how the cells would appear if they are not kept in a concentrated solution. But in the second column, you can see that it is showing user selected cell. That means these cells are kept in a solution of NaCl, and that is a concentrated solution. So now if we click on start button, you can see change in this second column but not in the first column. So you can see, as we started with definition of plasmolysis, here you can see that the protoplasm has shown shrinkage because these cells were kept in a solution, NaCl solution. After observing this, student can answer this question also. Student can assess his or her information at the same time whether the solution used was hypertonic or isotonic. So if I click on the first, I can see that a tick mark is shown which shows that this is a correct answer which I have given. But if a student clicks on a wrong answer, you can see a cross is shown here also. So by this, student can assess at the same moment. And if student wishes to try for others percentage also, yes. If the student wants to try another time, then student can click on reset and you can see that the initial page has appeared. Now we can quickly go to another percentage, and if we repeat the steps, you can see that now it has taken less time to show plasmolysis. So by this, we can perform simulations for various experiments.
So Ms. Nidhi, can we also see one of the 3D simulation also? We have already seen this 2D simulation. So let us have an experience of 3D experiment also, 3D simulation.
Sure, ma'am. We can.
Yeah, please demonstrate one.
We can try with 3D simulation as well.
So you have chosen class 7th.
Class 7th.
Okay.
So I have chosen class 7th, and if we go to this experiment, air expands on heating.
This is a 3D.
Yes.
Okay.
So here, when we click on simulator, we will get to experience a 3D simulation.
Hello, welcome to the activity Air Expands on Heating for Class 7. Place the test tube into hot water.
You can see the directions are written at the bottom of the screen, and along with this there is an audio also for the directions. So you just need to follow the directions and you will get the chance to observe what happens. So here I am putting this test tube in the hot water, and let's
observe the size of the balloon.
So here you can see that after keeping test tube in the hot water,
place the test tube back to the stand.
Balloon has inflated. So we have observed that balloon has inflated when we have kept it in hot water. Now we are directed to keep it in the test tube stand. Now you can see that it has deflated.
Partially.
Yes,
Yep.
It has partially deflated.
Transfer the test tube with balloon in cold water.
Now we have to put it in cold water so as to observe what...
Observe the size of the balloon. Conclusion. There is air inside the empty bottles. When the bottle is kept in hot water, the air inside it gets heated. It expands and inflates the balloon. In cold water, the air in the bottle contracts and the balloon is deflated. That is, the air expands on heating and contracts on cooling.
So by this 3D simulation...
You have successfully completed this activity. Thank you.
So by this 3D simulation, you have get to know that what happens when we keep a test tube, a balloon in hot water, and what change can we observe when we put it in cold water, how air expands and how air contracts.
So thank you Ms. Nidhi for demonstrating these two experiments on virtual lab. One was 2D and the another was 3D. So like that you can have a lot of experiments on virtual labs in different subject areas, and we are going to expand the list further also by adding more and more subjects to it. So we also have one of the a resource person, Prema ji from Amrita University. So
Right.
we can also learn from her more about virtual labs. So Simran, over to you to invite
Yeah, of
Prema
course,
ji.
ma'am. I must say the experience that were demonstrated by Nidhi ma'am were a treat to eye because they were so interesting to watch and it seems so real. And also we have someone with us from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham University, and ma'am has diverse experience in the field of education and virtual lab. So here I invite Dr. Prema Nidungadi ma'am in the conversation. Ma'am, through your diverse experience, I would request you to please share some flowers from your bucket of knowledge with all our viewers. Yeah, Prema ma'am.
Thank you, Simran.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
So
Welcome to all the viewers and panel members. OLabs is a major digital India initiative. Right now there are over 200 online virtual labs. They are completely aligned to the NCERT curriculum. Could you go to the next slide, please? Just a little bit about Amrita University. It's a very unique place to be in. If you look at the mission, our focus is education for life and education for living. That means value-based education also. We do a lot of research, which is compassion-driven. What that means is projects like OLabs, we do want them to go to rural India. We wanted to touch each child, even if there are no computers, they should be able to use it with mobile technology. And we are looking for global impact in terms of collaborations. Next slide.
next.
Indu ma'am already explained about what is currently there in online labs. We have over 215 experiments in all these subjects that you see. We are recently adding computer science. 5 labs are already ready. Next slide. So, if you look at what's the value of OLabs, the first thing is it's a complete lab learning environment. So it's not just a simulation or just a video or just an animation, but end to end is what we are providing. You saw Nidhi's demo. It had the theory component. So the theory page, there'll also be what's the expected learning outcome. And the procedure would have the procedure for performing the lab experiment in the traditional lab, physical lab, and also how to perform the experiment in the simulation. And there's often a video where a teacher is demonstrating the lab, and there's an animation also. And of course, the most important part is the simulation, which is accurate. In fact, the simulations can do a lot of things that you cannot really do in an experiment, physical experiment. For example, you can look at things, the pendulum, if you're looking at, you may not just look at it on Earth, you can look at it, for example, if you were on Jupiter, the gravity would be different, etc. You can actually visualize the flow of electrons also. So a lot of things that cannot be done is available for learning. Next slide. We have a huge amount of adoption. In fact, during COVID, what happened is the number of users doubled, 31 lakhs in 2020 versus 16 lakhs in 2019. We also see that the average session duration was much longer. That means if a student came in, they stayed for longer time. The number of sessions per user also increased by 85%. And the total number of sessions also increased significantly. The bounce rate decreased. What that means is overall the adoption and usage was much more once COVID started, and it's very obvious why that happened. Next.
So this is just a list of webinars we have done, some sample. The Sahodyas were a large part of it because they had all the CBSE schools together. And now our new focus is actually not just CBSE, but to go to state schools and schools that teach with Hindi or other languages. Next slide. And again, this is the pedagogy. So you have the theory, procedure, animation video, simulation, and the assessments. You already saw this. We are enhancing it now with the 3D animations and other things, also virtual reality, which we will show you soon. Next. So different ways you can use this in school. You could have teachers use it to supplement the learning. So we do have schools where the teachers are in the classroom and they explain the labs, they show it on the computer, and they demonstrate it before the students go to the lab. But you can also have the students independently use them. They can use them as pre-lab to familiarize themselves with the lab. They can use it in some cases where they do not have that particular experiment in their school. That's another way we find that many students use it. And they can also repeat it, so there are a lot of advantages. You can make mistakes, you can learn it. We have a lot of feedback from both teachers and students that it really helped them in their exams and marks and in learning. Next. So OLabs, they're also responsive. What that means is you can use it on tablets. It works very well on tablets, actually. It can also be used on mobile phones, though we prefer it is on tablets just because the screen is a little bit bigger. Next. There is also a YouTube channel with all the videos, and if you just search for OLabs, you will find OLabs in YouTube, you will find it. So you don't have to go to the OLabs website, you can directly go here. The simulations are not available here, but just all the videos are there. And right now it is available in Marathi, Hindi and Malayalam besides English. Some of the labs are also available in Kannada and Telugu. That's a smaller subset. But Hindi, Malayalam and Marathi, all the science and math languages are ready. So CBSE actually had evaluated our OLabs first in 2013, where they had an expert review committee that went through all the labs, and that is why it is of very high quality. That is one thing you will find different in OLabs. And now with the new labs, we will actually have NCERT that will review every lab. Next. So in NAP 2020, how do we align with it? NAP 2020 clearly talks about virtual and online labs. It talks about multilingual. It talks about those Divyangjan, those with some kind of learning disabilities. And it also talks about emerging technologies, which includes AR, VR, MR, AI, all of that. In fact, we are trying to put many of these into the new development of labs. For example, we will, as part of computer science, we will be also having blockchain and AI, besides Python programming, which is already started. So you will find labs in emerging technology areas. And access to social disadvantaged, that of course by making it multilingual and making sure it's on mobile technologies. We also provide OLabs on the downloadable version to schools, so that if they do not have internet, they can access it. The students can access it within the classroom. And of course, being on mobiles is what really helps most of the students. Next. We are going to have 10% of our labs with either virtual reality or 3D labs. And what we will do is, even the ones which are on virtual reality will also have a 3D lab version, so that the students who do not have the virtual reality equipment will be able to access it. And that is a very immersive experience. The learning can be much more. We have had a lot of good feedback about it. So that is something that I think the students will enjoy. We will also provide it a Google Cardboard version, so that only just for 250 rupees also it is available. Next. So we're very excited to start those O-Labs for computer science. We're looking at computational thinking and programming. So we are not just looking at how do you program, but the student will actually understand visually the compilation and the execution of the program to develop better intuition. Level 1 is what we are working on right now, but there are 5 levels planned all the way to object-oriented view. Next. There will also be a lab that is planned that is to learn Indian Sign Language. And this can be useful for deaf students, but also for hearing students. Indian Sign Language, as you know, has been standardized by the Government of India, and it's very important for deaf students to be able to learn science and get the support. Next. Entrepreneurship Labs for students. There is within CBSE books in class 11 and 12, there are some topics for entrepreneurship, and with the government making such a push for it and it being a part of NEP 2020 also, there will be labs that will help high school students understand how to become entrepreneurs. This is an award that we had got in 2015 from the IT Minister when O-Labs was first launched. Next. Yeah. If there is time, there is a video if you click that button. Otherwise, okay. Maybe if you could click that video link.
Sure, ma'am.
So we are trying to place it. Meanwhile, I'll request our viewers, if you have any of the queries regarding virtual labs, any questions regarding Diksha platform, so feel free to write down to us in the comment section of NCRT Official. Here in this conversation, we are joined by 3 experts. Still, if you have any queries, we have our comment section. Besides, here is a contact number that is flashing on your screens. You can always give us a call. It's our live session. This is our number. Note down it. It is 8800440559. Besides, here is a specific mail ID for all our viewers. It is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. In this particular session, we are discussing about the virtual labs that are available on Diksha platform. So if you are from science stream, if you are from math stream, I think this is going to be a very productive session for all the viewers who have connected with us. And again, I am emphasizing the point that we are here to take up all your queries. Our experts would be more than happy to answer your questions. So if you have few questions for us, do mention it in the comment section. So
it is asking for signing in. So how to sign in, we can ask from Prema.
Yeah, ma'am, the video requires signing in. So could we drop it for now? Because we are not left by much time.
Okay.
Shall we take few questions?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. So we are left by the last 5 minutes and we have few questions for our experts. So let's start with the very simple ones. So it is, what are the subjects that are offered in the Diksha platform for experiential and experimental learning?
So we have already mentioned the subject on which online labs are already there. So science, mathematics, English, computer science, and skill labs. We are also going to have some entrepreneurship content on there, which is based on vocational education. And skill labs will also be available soon. Apart from this, in future we will also be having these labs on different curricular areas like social sciences also and other subjects. So these are the subject areas where these lab activities will work, or they will be aligned to.
And ma'am, what do you think, up to which classes the students would be able to easily access?
Right now we are having lab content for classes 6 to 12th, but for classes, primary classes, we have a separate vertical which is Nipun Bharat vertical. So there we have gamified content, simulated content is also there. So it is aligned as per the, on Diksha the content is aligned as per the new curricular and pedagogical structure. So which is, the stage is foundational stage caters to FLN, foundational literacy and numeracy, then there is middle, secondary and senior secondary. So like that the content is aligned. On virtual lab we will be having content for classes 6 to 12 in different curricular areas which I already have mentioned.
All right, thank you so much for answering that, ma'am. Prema ma'am, we have a question for you. As you discussed about the virtual labs, the O labs, dealing particularly with children with special needs. So we have a comment in the comment section of NCRT Official, where viewers are asking us, is something available with the help of virtual labs through which children with special needs could also understand? You mentioned something about Indian Sign Language. Yeah.
So, special needs is such a vast area. You will be looking at visually impaired, you could look at autism, you could look at, intellectual disability, you could look at hearing disabled. And so one solution obviously will not fit everybody. When you look at virtual labs, there is an interactive element. There is, there is some audio. There is images and videos. So obviously, all that is useful, good learning pedagogy for many of the students. We do need to do more. In the sense, there are some places where there is only text, and so we need to enable speech for all of them. That is one. For the deaf, not only having sign language that would translate the text or translate the videos for the deaf, but also what we have is an ISL learning lab, so that many deaf students who may not be exposed to sign language yet, just because there's a lot of pushback sometimes from parents and others that the deaf child should learn to speak instead of learn to sign. But learning to sign is very important. It's even important for those who are not deaf to learn sign language so they can communicate better. And so for the deaf, for the autistic child also it would help. And then there are still more things we need to do. For example, for the blind, you may need to look at color blindness. It is not just making text to speech, for example.
Yes, of course.
And so what are the right colors that you choose? Even that has to be thought through in a graph, in an image. So I would say we have taken some effort to do it, but we still need to do more.
Of course, ma'am. Thank you so much for mentioning that. We are left by the last 1 minute. I just want to solve a query of one of our viewers. Nidhi ma'am, you have demonstrated few experiments for our viewers. So they are asking, how do you know when to move towards the next step? Are there any instructions available?
Definitely, there is an option of help. When you go to a simulation, at the top right, you will find help, and when you click on help, you will see that all the steps are shown one by one. So you can just once check out, and then you can perform the same steps. So as you will practice more and more, you will be able to solve more and more simulations in an easy way.
Well, I think hereafter our viewers will definitely try to solve all the assessments and also all the content that is available for all of you on virtual labs on Diksha platform. So I would like to take this moment to thank all the three experts who have connected with us in the conversation. Thank you so much, Indu ma'am. And thank you Nidhi ma'am for being a part of this conversation, and thank you for your guidance, Prema ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the viewers who have connected with NCRE for this particular session, whether it's about the simulations, the animation, the lab videos, performing and learning different kind of experiments or the practice questions. I hope you have learned a lot in this session and you are going to try it on your own. Now, this is not it. Another, we have a session of Sahyog, guidance for mental well-being and psychosocial support for all the students and viewers watching our session. So don't go anywhere, and the topic of our Sahyog session will be revealed in the next half an hour. So stay connected with NCRE, keep watching PM eVidya channels. Namaskar.